Hello creative cooks, welcome or welcome back to another episode of the Creative Phoebe Cooks channel. I'm your host Phoebe and today we'll be making a red lentil stew, which is a vegan and high protein comfort food to help you boost up your energy levels, daily productivity and nutritional goals, whether you're having it for lunch or dinner. Watch this episode all the way through because we'll be exploring different ways you can have it, such as with cassava, otherwise known as yuca, to make your daily meal options filling and more enjoyable. Together with that, I'll be sharing a handful of cooking tips that you can use to make your next recipe taste even better. As always, find the full recipe on my blog using one of the links in the description box below. And with that, let's get started on our one-pot red lentil stew in voiceover mode. To begin, measure out 600 grams of red lentils in a bowl. I'm using red lentils because they take a shorter amount of time to cook and easily absorb seasonings, compared to other varieties of lentils, which makes cooking this stew quite effortless. Wash the red lentils a few times until the water runs clear. Then fill the bowl with fresh water and allow the lentils to soak in it for at least 10 to 15 minutes while we prepare the aromatics. Feel free to soak the lentils longer or overnight if preferred, depending on your schedule. Next, peel and chop the onions and garlic and set them aside. And instead of discarding the peels, store them in a bag of vegetable scraps that you keep in your freezer since you'll be gathering them over time. And once you've gathered quite a bit, you can make some really delicious homemade vegetable stock that is sure to enhance your glow due to the health benefits you gain from eating and drinking more vegetables, as you use the vegetable stock to make your soups, stews, and more. I've listed a link below for this vegetable stock so you too can make some soon. After putting our vegetable scraps away, we've got 250 grams of fresh parsley to chop up. The fresher the parsley, the better, because the goal is to add a ton of fresh flavor to the red lentil stew, and the parsley does that quite well while complementing the earthy note of the lentils. But before chopping up the parsley, ensure that all the excess water has been wicked off in order not to water down your meal or bruise your parsley while chopping them. And if you do not have a salad spinner, just lay your parsley on a clean, cotton-based absorbent kitchen towel. Roll the towel with the parsley in it into a log like this. Then leave it undisturbed for 10 to 15 minutes so the water can absorb in the towel as much as possible. But if you're in a haste, tap the towel log gently to encourage the water to absorb into the kitchen towel as much as possible. Then unroll the log and now you're ready to chop up your parsley without bruising them, or store them unchopped for a later date. Later on in this video, I'll be sharing with you how you can keep your parsley looking fresh and vibrant in the fridge for up to 3 weeks. Isn't that amazing? So stay tuned for that. Cut off the tough ends of the parsley stems, then roughly chop up the parsley leaves and the softer stems and set aside in the bowl while you store the tougher stems in your bag of vegetable scraps before they go into the freezer. Now, I would suggest another green like kale, spinach, or cilantro, but the final taste of this dish would not be at par compared to only using parsley. However, after making this recipe for the first time, feel free to experiment to see what works for you. Alright, in a large pot on high heat, add in 4 tablespoons of olive oil together with the chopped onions and garlic. Then stir and saute these components for about 5 minutes. That would be about 60 mils of olive oil, thereabout, depending on what part of the world you're in. Wait, hold on. Mils works for all parts of the world. Well, there you go. Anyways, during this time, if you're loving this already, subscribe to my channel if you want to see more videos like this. And kindly share the link with a loved one who fancies tasty vegan recipes, loves lentils, or like you, just loves trying new recipes. Thank you. To the sauteed aromatics, add your spices, which include cinnamon powder, coarse sea salt, paprika powder, cayenne pepper, and black pepper powder, and consistently stir these components to prevent burning. I'm adding in half a habanero pepper, but feel free to add more or less to suit your taste. Saute all of these components for 47 minutes until the combination turns darker and smoky, but be sure to keep a close eye on this step to prevent burning, or you may have to discard the burnt goods and start over. That will not be cool. Next, I'm adding in some sesame paste. The sesame paste helps thicken the base of the stew, but if you're allergic to sesame seeds, I'd suggest substituting the sesame paste for nut or seed butter, like the mixed nut butter I shared 2 episodes ago. And I've included a link below for the recipe for you to make some. And I think you're gonna love it so much that it just might be your new favorite pantry staple. We're about halfway through this cooking process, but before adding in the red lentils, drain them to release any excess water, then add into the pot. We're going to stir this really well to coat the lentils with the sautéed and toasty seasonings, and let the lentils toast for about 2 to 3 minutes to absorb the smoky and toasty notes from the sautéed components. Next, add in 1.2 liters of water, stir well, making sure that there is nothing sticking to the bottom of the pot, and cover the pot. If you're using my vegetable stock recipe to add more flavor to this dish, make it half water and half vegetable stock, then bring to a simmer to cook for about 10 to 12 minutes or until the lentils are soft, while stirring occasionally. Uncover the pot after about 5 minutes into simmering, and while that continues to simmer, here are 2 more red lentil recipes that you may be interested in. First are these gluten-free red lentil flatbread recipe that are really becoming quite a hit on my channel right now, that you can eat with any meal from morning to evening, your choice. In fact, contrary to my recipe video, my sister made this recently with a day or 2 old fermented red lentils that gave the flatbread an edgy taste with some sour notes with minimal earthy flavor. She had it with fresh greens and avocado. Gosh, that was so good. So feel free to experiment with this gluten-free red lentil flatbread recipe and this simple red lentil soup recipe from my cookbook, Eat Joyfully, which comes with 15 amazing recipes and a free weekly planner if you get your copy today. I hope you enjoy making these as much as we do. Of course, all the links are below. Now that the lentils are pretty much cooked, add in our chopped parsley and stir well. Turn down the heat to medium and cover the pot to continue cooking for about 5 to 7 minutes until the parsley has wilted and the red lentils have broken down even more, making this stew thick and creamy. Speaking of parsley, if you want your fresh parsley to last longer than usual, fill up a jar with cool water and dip the parsley stems in it like a hydroponic setup to sprout herbs like mint, basil, and so on. Then cover the parsley leaves with a cling film wrap or a dry Ziploc bag and store this whole system in your fridge to last long and fresh for up to 3 weeks. I do this habitually to save coins on herb purchases. Now, your turn. Do this and come back to this video to share your experience. I'm looking forward to it. Because red lentils carry such a strong earthy aroma, aside from the spices we added in earlier, we need something citrus to complement its flavor, and fresh lemons and lime are perfect for that. I'm having up 1 to 2 lemons, extract 55 ml of juice, and stir into the cooking pot. Stir well and taste the stew to adjust any seasonings, then serve hot. If you're enjoying this cooking session together with all these applicable culinary tips, write in the comments where you're watching from. I'm excited that you're here. And please give this video a thumbs up so that other viewers can easily find it through the magic of the YouTube algorithm. Thank you. Of course, you can have it with grains like steamed rice or millet, but you've got to try it with my tastiest and viral plantain flatbread recipe. These are quite a hit, and oh yes, I've included a link below for you to make some this week, and they do freeze quite well in case you prefer to make large batches for the weeks ahead. If you're familiar with cassava, boil it and serve it with this red lentil stew. Or you may have the stew as is, with a sprinkle of fresh parsley and fresh squeeze of lemon juice or lime juice, as you see here, if you desire it. Then eat and be merry. No matter what you choose, this vegan and high protein red lentil stew will keep you satiated for hours. It's that good. And that's it for today, Creative Cooks, on red lentil stew, a vegan and high protein meal that is just right to help you achieve your diet, nutritional, and productivity goals. Let me know your thoughts on this recipe in the comments below, and download your meal planners and my cookbook to inspire your next cooking adventure. Thank you so much for watching, and see you in the next one.